all right, everybody. Sorry about the delay. Again, welcome to another episode of Mornings with Movers. You got myself, Dwight Mack, with Mack's Moving Training and Moving Force. We got Ryan Marsh with Supermove, and we ain't gonna talk about the other business. And we got James Hatfield in the building from LiveSwitch. And if you guys don't know about LiveSwitch, like they have been dominating, the video aspect of the moving industry as well as the home service industry as well. And if you're not using them for your virtual surveys, we're going to talk about it today. But James know the ins and outs. He's been with the company. I don't know. I feel like from the beginning, he might as well be the CEO. Um, but yeah, they have some amazing, easy to use software that you guys need to be using when you guys are doing your virtual estimates. It should be a part of your routine nowadays, just how simple this software is to use with your estimating. So, James, how's everything been? I know it's been a while since you've been on the show.
Oh yeah, I've been on the show for a while, but it feels like a homecoming, right? This is where it all began, right? So I'm glad to be back here, and we love it. We've been here, there, and everywhere. I got guys on planes flying all over the place. I got one guy heading over to Croatia right now to talk to the young movers in Europe. So we're
Wow.
international now. We've got Kent Moving, which is the largest moving company in all of Australia, using it now. So we're on all the continents, man. We're going worldwide. Last time I was here, we were just getting started here in the U.S. So I'm
Hmm.
excited about how things have been going.
Yeah, the massive growth your company had, and y'all were big before y'all even got into the movie industry. But the fact of ease of use, I think, has been the key to the massive success y'all have had, especially in the moving industry. Because as I mentioned, way back ago with as many episodes as we had, um, there was so many loops you had to jump through to just get the video to work for customers. And we had to have, you send them a link. They have to download the app. Once they download the app, then they have to, go through the process of recording each room. And obviously that wasn't bad because you could break it up by rooms, but it was a process because if you're dealing with the older generation who don't know how to use apps, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's unusable is what it is. It really is. And here's the thing. I used to run painting companies and power washing companies, and I know what it's like to live on a ladder. So like we don't want complex stuff. Like we just don't. Like I don't want to go and learn a bunch of software. Like it's not fun for me. It's not fun for anybody. And the problem is we got engineers, guys who code who never lived on a ladder, and then they try to make software for the guys who live in the truck. You know what I mean? I'm like, you don't
Hmm.
you don't know me. You don't understand what I go through. You don't understand my customers, and they try to give me this complicated stuff. And, if you don't make your stuff simple, you ain't doing it right. Right. Because you're trying to hire new people. You're trying to train them how to do good work, moving from A to B, making happy customers, teaching them just how to smile and say hello sometimes, really. And now I got to teach them, 3 weeks of this, that, and the other, So if it ain't easy, especially for that end user, like you said, because nobody wants to download another app. Nobody wants to go and upload photos, like looking through their family just so you can see what's going on. Like, if you don't make it simple, you're sunk.
Okay, Ryan, you over here quiet. I know it's 6 o'clock in the morning. What's going on with you?
Yeah, I'm glad because it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I got a sore throat here at this point. I had like 9 hours worth of delays and cancellations just trying to get out here in the
Jeez.
airport. So it was probably one of the most brutal, by far the most brutal travel day I've ever had in the history. But no complaints. Everybody made it safe. And out of all the travels, having one bad day, honestly, is I chalk that up as a major win.
Yeah.
So I'm just taking on. It's been a while since I've seen James. I feel like it's a homecoming for me too. My goodness. And I'm looking at his mic and camera. I'm like, you got some nice stuff over there. I love
Oh
it.
yeah. Yeah, man. I've been speaking around the country now. I'm on a live event this evening. I'm on usually one or two podcasts a day because the coolest thing, oh man. So you guys know my story. We started with reinventing the 911 phone call. We're doing stuff for the NBA. We're doing stuff for WWE Wrestling. Here we come. And we meet Wade Zweikel, and he's like, you have no idea what you guys have. Like, us movers, we're going to use this for virtual estimates. And I'm like, what do you mean? What's that? Like, we didn't even expect to be here. And so we come in, and moving's where we started, with this technology. We were still getting rolled out to, different emergency stuff. But, what's cool is like the movers, like they took on to it. You know, like they already kind of knew what a virtual estimate is. Well, now we're getting into painting, power washing, electricians, HVAC, roofers. All these other industries don't all know what a virtual estimate is.
Need a last-minute fill-in or facing an unexpected injury among your moving staff? No worries, Moving Force has you covered. Our app instantly connects you with trusted, professional movers who are ready to step in and handle urgent jobs whenever you need them. With our reliable network of vetted experts, you'll never be left short-handed. What are you waiting for? Download the app now and sign up for free now. Your stress-free move is just a tap away.
Like, we got to explain it to them. Like, sometimes we give ourselves a hard time in the moving industry. Like, oh, we're kind of backwards. Yeah, we're not there yet, you know, but no. You guys are like way down the chessboard when I compare you against the electricians, you know, or the HVAC. This industry is pioneering stuff. Like, this industry has pioneered some things, and I don't think we give ourselves enough credit in the moving industry. You know, sometimes people just look at us like we're moving boxes, and that ain't what this is. You know, we're trying to show you how to elevate a customer experience. Like, I was on with Pink Zebra not too long ago on a virtual event, and they're talking about they put music up. They have a mascot that comes out and passes out candy. They're giving, you know, the coolest thing they're doing is they're giving after someone's moved, they give them a little dinner certificate. Say, hey, dinner's on us tonight. You just moved. Like, little things like that where I'm like, man, you can't.
Amazing.
That is not, electricians ain't doing that. I'm telling you, they ain't doing that. So like, we got to give credit where credit's due in the moving industry. So this is good stuff.
No, if y'all not making any change to your game at this point, y'all still doing the same old handy dandy moves. Let me pick your stuff up, put it down. Oh, thank you for choosing us. Oh, leave us a review. Oh, you mind if we take a video in front of our truck so that, you know, we can put it out to the customers and give them nothing back? Then, you know, you're going to get the same results. You know, you might improve year over year by a few smidgets. But you're not going to improve. You're not going to see that drastic change until you actually build that referral base, that word of mouth experienced customer.
That's right. And then run your business by the data. Like, I'm looking at Ryan right now because we interviewed a guy who runs an 8-figure moving business in Seattle. He's got his sales manager in Poland. This guy's in Seattle now. He's got his salespeople, 37 of them, in South Africa. And then every other hour, he's running data reports, 4 data reports a day out of the CRM, right? Like what Ryan's got, like speed to lead. How fast are we getting to people? Are we following up? I mean, he ain't playing. I mean, I feel bad for you if you're in Seattle because this is the kind of competition you're up against. I mean, Ryan, like, what are you seeing these from data-driven, you know, companies? What help us out here?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, James. Is I talk to companies every single day, right? Some are through the roof successful. Some are absolutely struggling just to even get the phone to ring. And the difference is like the Pink Zebras of the world, you know, showing that incredible experience, bringing the mascot, playing the music. It's like the guy out that you're talking about in Seattle, who I'd love to meet here now, hearing his story, that is just making the data-driven decisions and not basing things off gut. These guys aren't waiting for the phone to ring. They are making and creating that phone to ring. And I think that's going to be the differentiator this upcoming year as to who's going to win and who's going to ultimately lose, because times have changed. I know we've talked about this on many episodes, but, you know, pre-COVID or during COVID, the industry was a lot of order takers because the mass amount of work that was out there. And I don't want to say sales folks got a little laxed or relaxed, but I know me personally, I remember having deals thrown at me 24/7. It was like, wow, this is just absolutely amazing. And then 2023 hits, 2024 hits. We're all sitting back going, hey, where's these leads? I'm not getting 500 leads a month anymore. I'm getting 100. So the ones that are out there making it happen are the ones that, to me, at least from what I'm seeing and hearing, are the ones that are going to absolutely crush this year and beyond.
Last minute crisis? We've got you covered. When your moving staff is short, Moving Force steps in. Instantly connect with a network of trusted movers ready to handle the job. Fast sign-ups, trusted network, reliable solutions. Don't let last minute issues slow you down. Help is just a tap away. Download the app and sign up for free today.
So it's exciting, but yeah, back to the data piece. If you're not leveraging that data to make those decisions, to run the organization and to pivot left or right, and you're just going by the gut, it's not going to work for you.
Yeah, you got to get in the mind of the customer. It's all about customer experience. Secret shop yourself. And in fact, secret shop the 10 people you compete against.
Yes.
I was on stage in Orlando at a cleaning conference, and I had my whole script all ready to go. And I was like, man, this is kind of boring. Let's switch it up. So when I got up there, I decided to live secret shop power washers in Orlando. And I asked the audience, I'm like, what do you think's going to happen? I'm going to call, because what do we do? What do we do as customers? I want to move my family. I go to Google, right? I look at who has the most stars, unless someone's referred to me, which would be awesome, by the way. But if I don't know anybody, so I look who has a big number of stars. What do? I go to their website, make sure it looks okay. How's your website look? Does it look janky? You know, these are the little things the customers look at. If you can't get your website right, I'm not sure if I want you to touch my stuff, but I'm just saying, maybe I'm only one of those customers, but I make a call. All right. And now I call this power washer with 766 five-star reviews. What do you think? What do you guys think happened? What do you think happened?
I would hope they had answered.
No.
I'm gonna say it was, it was not a good experience.
It rang
Yeah,
10
voicemail.
times and went to voicemail. It went to voicemail. Well, sure enough, the next day, there's another speaker, and they're hey, did you hear about the guy secret shopping people? And one of the guys was in my session. He was like, oh, yeah. And the guy he secret shopped is right here, and he didn't even pick up the phone. And the whole room goes, oh, my God. Well, he walks around the corner. This dude is like 6'5", big old beard, like jacked, you know, and he brings his little buddy beside him who's also looking jacked, and they're coming right at me. And I'm like, I'm about to die right now. That's what's going to happen. That's how it ends. I didn't know it was going to end at a conference, but it's about to end for me right now. So they start walking up to me, and he's like, did you call me? Like, when did you call me yesterday? Because he's like, I heard when you called me. I was like, all right, yeah, man, you know, hey, don't hurt me, you know? Like, so we look, and he's like, we're looking at my phone, his marketing guy's like, oh, it's an out-of-state thing. He's like in every kind of excuse right there. Like, totally red-faced, you know? And the owner's like, no. We just didn't pick up the phone. We didn't pick up the phone. So this is where it starts. We call it speed to lead, race to the face. Secret shop the 5 other people and your own company today. And what is it like to call your company? Do you even answer? And then what do they say? I had an auto detailer guy tell me he does this with his managers. He makes them, they secret shop every competitor. And they called 12 auto detail shops. You can't make this stuff up. 11 of them didn't answer. One of them did. And the guy that answered was like, what's up? What's up? He's like, is this so-and-so's detail? He said, yeah, what you want? What the heck? You know?
No.
Hey everybody, my name is Dwight Mack with Mack's Moving Training. So we're going to be doing a move and a pack today. But before we go in, there's just 10 basic rules that we just need to know before participating with this service. So number 1, understand moving is a very, very stressful thing. We need to be a service provider that comes in and basically keep that stress level mitigated or very low. You know, come in as professionals and do our job the way we know how to do our job so that this customer is less stressed during that move process. Number 2, be on time. You know, first impression is everything. You know, you guys showing up outside of the window rubs the customer the wrong way. It messes up the rest of the move process. Even if you guys do the best job y'all can do, because one thing was off, this customer's mood is just off. Go up and beyond, you know, be there before the time, you know, as long as they're okay with it. Let's get started with this move and pack.
When the day starts, before everyone gets on the road, a debriefing of the day ahead needs to take place, going over all the expectations, firing up the squad, and just setting the tone for the move day. The truck inspection is something that should be done every single day prior to going out. With the truck equipment check, this is a task that can be done while the truck inspection is taking place. You want to make sure that each crew has their respective list of things to check. This is also the perfect time to tidy up and count all of the odd pieces of equipment. There's just one last step. The foreman or the lead should contact the customer to make sure everything is still on schedule and to let them know when they'll be arriving. Now, all the dots are checked and it's time to get this crew out the yard. Moving equipment. This will be your standard equipment for your move. We will go in depth on how all of these can play a major role in performing a safe and efficient move. The two-wheel dolly. This is a simple one-man piece of equipment that can be used for your boxes, or even better yet, your big and larger items that you will likely encounter. Residence protection. The front entryway is where a lot of damage can happen on the move. So to limit this, we're going to use 3 very important things. First, we're going to use a floor runner with a blanket, and this is going to protect the home from any pebbles and shoes or mud that's going to harm the immediate floor. Once the sides are wrapped, you can now stand it up and wrap from bottom all the way to the top. This method would be the preferred way, as this now puts the movers in the prime carrying position to get the sofa out of the residence. When lifting something big and heavy like this dresser, it's very helpful to use a 2-wheel dolly. In addition to using the dolly, using a spotter can really help you get it through the door and down and up the stairs.
So now it's all about loading up the truck. And there's just some basic rules that we got to follow with loading the truck. Number 1, make sure that you did a thorough walkthrough of the home, seen everything that you need to move, and now you can start painting that picture in your head of how you want that truck loaded. Number 2, start with the basics, start with the miscellaneous stuff, because ultimately you don't want to find yourself stacking on miscellaneous items like hampers and bags and stuff like that. So, let's start with the simple stuff in your load.
Storage vault loading. So the customer shipment has arrived at your warehouse. It's time to assess that everything is accounted for and determine if everything will fit into the storage vault as quoted for. So similar to packing a truck, we're going to start with a solid base, which will be the foundation to bring this whole load together.
Alright guys, my name is Brandon. I'm with Mack's Move Management, and here's 11 steps on how to have a perfect move. Number 7, after load up, make sure to do a walk around with the customer to ensure everything is done. That means you grab the customer, your guys are outside, maybe putting away all the equipment. You grab the customer, do a walk around, you open up every closet. If you were doing a pack job, make sure that you know that everything is gone. Make sure you go through the kitchen, open up every cupboard, leave the cupboards open so at quick glance, everybody sees that the kitchen has been fully packed. And anything of that nature, even the wardrobe boxes, just double check and make sure you do a complete walk around. And if the customer had a garage or anything outside of the home that was mentioned to move, patio table, patio furniture, maybe some items out of the garage or shed, make sure you don't forget to do that walk around as well. Do a complete walk around.
It'd be crazy when they answer the phone like that. So obviously I'm in the customer service field as well, besides doing these 8,000 things I'm doing on the side. And when I just hear like one of my staff members just answer the phone or whatever the case is, and it just sound like they just don't want the business, I'm just like, what are we doing? And it's like, it's not, you try to teach it as much as possible. You try to demonstrate it so that, they can get through the flow. But I guess some of the things that they take away, because unless they're just about good customer service, they may take away the little pieces like, oh, let me mention my name, let me mention the company's name, but their demeanor on a phone, it's just crazy. And you're just like, yeah, I don't want you to pick up the phone.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, it's just the power in secret shopping. Like for anyone listening, like it is truly, I do it all the time. I do it on behalf of a lot of movers that we work with, and even call them prior to my particular call with them. So when I do ask the questions, hey, when the customer calls your organization, what's it sound like, feel like, what's it smell like? And you deal with the owner of the company, and of course, you know what they're going to say. Oh, we pick up, we're great, we ask these questions, we lead, we guide, we this, we're not salesy. And it's like, it's the complete opposite. It's the absolute complete opposite of what they say versus what have you. But I mean, my gosh, you can secret shop a crap ton of companies in 20 minutes on day one. But again, I use it for my own personal side. So much power in there. I love how you say that, James. Super power when it comes to making those calls.
And you don't have to put up with it as an owner. Like, secret shop yourself today. Be ready to be humbled, maybe not. Maybe you'll be very pleasantly like, yeah, my team is on it. We don't mess around. But secret shop it. Is there a bunch of background noise when the person answers? Or is the first thing that answers your dialing service? Like the second company I secret shopped, I went to an AI agent. And I was like, hey, I'm ready to buy right now. I'm like, oh, that's great to hear. But before we transfer you to a live representative, I need some. I was like, I don't want representative. Hey, great. Before we do that, we do this as owners to save money, right? Because we want the AI. Everyone's talking AI. But this is when someone's first walking into your business for the first time. There's a reason Walmart has a greeter, right? What's your greeter like? And you don't have to put up with it. Like now you can hire people. Literally, I'll be on a virtual stage afternoon talking with a company that has incredible people overseas. You can have a virtual assistant who's fully dedicated to you. Not a Fiverr. Don't go to Fiverr and cheap out. And these aren't that expensive, by the way. And I don't know your budgets, but like for $1,500 a month for a full-time dedicated person,
It's cheap.
that's cheap for someone. And it's not like what you think. A lot of people, oh, they're going to answer and no one's going to understand them, or they're going to be in some call center in the middle of India. Nope. They're in a professional office. Some of their English is better probably than people on your staff. Like they pride themselves. Like the person you're going to have is the head of their household. Like a dollar goes way farther over there. So they're taking care of like tons of people, and they've spent their whole career in college learning how to speak English so clearly because they know this. And now because they can make big bucks, for them, $1,500 a month is big bucks, big bucks over there. And now you've got someone who will even go on video for you, will wear your uniform, will work. They're hungry. Go. And if you're like, man, I can't find good people in my area. Well, get out your area. Get out your area. Like, and this is real, and this is happening. And this is what I was talking about with the guy in Seattle. He has 37 of these folks in South Africa. But why? Why? You got to ask yourself why. Because he wants that first touch point. That's how he knows how to get cash. And then it's race to the face. We're trying to do virtuals like Dwight was talking about, because people buy from this. And they don't buy from the AI robot, last I checked. And an AI robot's estimate's not very good, last I checked. But anyway, sorry, I'll get off my soapbox, Dwight. I'm taking over.
No, you're good.
Things,
you're absolutely good. No, and you're absolutely right. At the end of the day, a lot of people are trying to automate things, but you got to automate the right things. So, prime example. So, before I get started, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I got to make sure I say that because the button actually starts to glow when you say that. Yeah. It's something I learned. But nevertheless, it's very similar to a lot of people trying, like I said, mentioning they're trying to automate a lot of things, but sometimes it's the wrong things. I've seen some movers trying to speed through their website form. So, hey, I want the customer to fill out everything, the inventory, everything, the long form on the websites. And then we'll give them a call. And if they don't fill it out, then, likelihood they're probably not going to be our customer or whatever the case is. And I've heard the dumb stuff like that. And it's just like, if you're going to make the customer do all their homework on your website, obviously people just want to quote. They want to hear a voice, before doing all that, just to tell them that, oh, yeah, your price is going to be $5,000. Like, whatever. It could be even lower than that, but nevertheless, it's just like they don't want to do all that homework just to say, "Oh man, is this the moving experience?" Like,
I've also found when you leave it, again, my experience, my opinion, when you leave and put the onus, my goodness, 100% on the customer to basically tell us what we need to know and the information that we need to truly source a successful move, it's never right. Right? I mean, I don't know plumbing. Like, imagine I call a plumber and they're like, hey, tell us what equipment we need. Tell us what we got to do. Tell us how we have to fix it. And then we'll give you a quote. There's a reason I'm calling the plumbers, because I don't know how to fix it myself. Same thing with moving. I've dealt with this one guy. He has got such a long form. It took me 15 minutes to fill out a basic inventory. And after the first 4 or 5 minutes, I'm like, why am I doing this? What am I doing? Am I getting everything right? Like, send me the LiveSwitch link. Let me walk through with somebody. Let me have somebody, a professional, guide me through the experience. But I think I do think there is a fit for some smaller inventory pieces in some smaller forms. But I just think that, virtual or in person or what have you, specifically, I was a big virtual guy, but that's going to win. more than having these long, long forms.
Yeah, and no matter how you sugarcoat it, I just feel like the stuff that you guys are doing over there, James, is like, and is like, I don't even know if I'm saying the right word, invaluable, but it's just like intangible. It's like one of those things that's so great that it's just, if you don't have it, you need to have it because it works so smooth. It's one of those things where you can literally incorporate in anything that you do, especially if you're in a business. Anything that you do, you can incorporate. Your guys in the field, they run into issues. Maybe they need to examine, furniture pieces because, they don't know how to disassemble it or whatever the case is. And somebody at the office knows exactly what parts they need. Hey, just record it. Oh, go around the side. Okay, let me check that out. Okay, yep, I see exactly where you need to be. So I'm going to highlight this part here in the photo, and I'll send it right back to you in the case that is that you want to do a photo or whatever the case is. But you have that video, and it's seamless. And then it could be uploaded into your CRM if you have that capabilities, or copy the link and put it into your CRM. So now you have notes for later when you are referring back to this customer. Wait, why did my estimate jump up $1,000 or whatever the case is when I told you guys what I had or whatever the case is? Well, hey, I'm going to send you this video that we recorded while we were on site so that basically we kind of make sure that we were all on the same page and, we don't have any discrepancies. And you resend the video back to them, and now they're like, oh, well, okay, that makes sense. And it's indescribable evidence, or if you ever need to use it in court or whatever the case is, it's just seamless.
Number 3, make sure your team is in uniform, they're groomed, their hygiene is checked, because that's the worst thing you could do, especially going in a house. Customer can smell your guy from a mile away, and now, again, their mood is just thrown off. So make sure that you guys are in uniform, you're tight, you have uniform shirts, it doesn't look like, you have a laborer that's, hired from off the street. Presentation is everything that goes towards your first impression. Number 4, introduce both you and your partner when greeting a customer. Don't just go to the door by yourself, while your driver is unloading the truck, and introduce yourself. Actually have both of you there. Introduce yourself first, then introduce your partner second, and then, allow them to welcome you into their home.
And it's not going to take up so much bandwidth that you have to worry about, oh, well, let me delete this file, let me delete this. So I don't know. I've had a lot of great experience with it when I had my moving company, and I probably will have a lot more experience with moving for y'all. And as y'all know, busy season is coming. So if you guys haven't booked your labor or started streamlining your labor, definitely you need to be downloading Moving Force, and we are dominating right now on the East Coast. So reach out to my team. We'll definitely assist you along the route, and we can help you there. And for you, James, if you didn't know, so Moving Force is a labor platform. So moving companies that do not, maybe their guys call out last minute, they don't have enough guys for the day. Instead of going to the temp service and trying to find a body for the day, or whatever the case is, they can download our app and actually hire movers that would actually drive out to the location that they're at. These guys have been vetted, and they could pretty much get the job done and keep the operations running smooth.
That's huge. That's huge because people get sick last I checked. And sometimes people just decide they don't want to go to work anymore.
Oh yeah.
But the customer doesn't care. The customer's like, I signed my contract. We're moving today. You better bring the people. So seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah. So I've struggled with it. I know Ryan struggled with it in the past as well, where it's just like you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you got 4, 5, 6, 7 trucks going out for the day, and maybe 2, 3 guys call out, and you already know your operations is screwed. You got doubles and everything set up. So you're like, well, hey, if you 3 guys get this job done soon, I can get you on the second job. But then when that one guy on that crew calls out, you're like, there's no way a 2-man is getting this 3-man job done and making it to the second job. That's supposed to be a 3-man. So, we created this so that these guys were very mobile, They can come out any time of the day, and it's the Uber for moving. So these guys are accepting the projects as they come in, and they all hungry. So, and it's not the day labor stuff where you guys got to pay $250 a day for such service, which now you got to worry about your profit margins. And I know a lot of moving companies shy away from that because of that exact reason. Well, I only charge $500, $600, $700, and I got to give you $250. They're great guys. I'm never going to take away from that, but that is a high ticket.
And they show up in slides and a tank top. That's your $250, $300 a day guy.
You mean you can't move people in the slides? Come on, Ryan.
Hey, it's dangerous, man. Absolutely. You're going to slide right out them things coming down the walkboards. Like, not going to happen. But I see it more and more. The more sites that I'm involved in, it's truly, I'd be careful how I say this, but it's comical in some aspects where it's like $300 a day guy is literally in slides, shorts all the way down to the ankles, and like a wife beater. I don't even know if that's what you actually can't even call it that anymore, but those white tight tank tops. I don't know what you call those things, but we're gonna call it. You gotta say the right thing now. Got to be politically correct. Husband beaters. I don't know what you want to call them. Wife beater, husband beater, white tank top. It's all the same thing, right? I guess we're movers, right? We can talk about this stuff a little bit, but
the world is getting soft. Let's just be honest. I spoke to a military lady the other day, and even with the Army, they're softening stuff. The drill sergeants used to make you want to like literally, quit because it was like, hey, we're gonna get rid of all your bad habits and we're gonna rebuild you. And now it's like they have to fall back. But I did hear, and not to necessarily talk politics, but I did hear that Trump has put in an order to remove a lot of people from the Army who are gender confused, quote unquote, saying that it's considered a mental illness.
Well, folks, this is where I sign off. I'm turning my camera off. I don't get involved in these conversations. I don't do politics. Y'all have a good day. There's been a lot of changes definitely going on in the world. And again, like because it's getting so soft, it's ridiculous. Like one lady, I think I just seen a news article passing today, and the headlines read, woman gets arrested for beating her child, because he had planned to steal. Well, I guess define beat.
I guess gave him a whooping, essentially. And it's just like, so we let the crime happen and they go to jail, but a little whooping, and I get it. It's different ways you can discipline, but if you brought up like our generation, we're still brought up on that level where a belt to behind makes you all right, but the next generation, might be like, oh, you know what, go face the corner. And maybe it works.
I had three options. It was the belt, the arrow, or do you want the soap? And neither option was good, let me tell you. You didn't want any. I had the most incredible love from my parents, but there was also that little bit of, and I say good fear. And I think that fear was you didn't want to disappoint your mom or your dad. You didn't want to do wrong, even though you're a kid and kids are going to do wrong. Like there was always that. And I didn't want to pick 1, 2, or 3. I thought I was smart the one day and picked 3, which was the soap and that nasty white bar of Dove sitting there like Ralph from Christmas Story. It's crazy. 5 minutes soap in your mouth. Yeah, it's horrible.
That sounds like abuse now.
I turned out okay, right? I turned out decent, I will say. But
are you really? Wink.
A little bit.
But how do we translate that into our business today? Right?
Yes.
Like I have a great story about one of my friends, their kids, who went through high school, always late every day, always got a little, every now and then detention, a little slip to take home, but really no consequence. No consequence. Came late, like 80 tardies, had a school record, almost proud of it, no consequences at home, nothing. Well, Junior decides to go get a job and has a boss who actually believes in consequences. And Junior, guess what? Do you think Junior came to work late one day? Oh yeah. And you know what that boss did? Fired him on the spot. And guess what happened the next job that Junior got? Never was late again. Right? So sometimes we got to pay it forward. It might hurt because you need people and you had to fire someone you just hired because you wanted to give them some corporate consequences. People are going to wake up when you fire them.
Yep.
Your team's going to wake up a little bit. Like I always say, there's 3 things that are healthy in a business: hire, fire, and promote. When's the last time you fired somebody? You might need to, not to make an example and not just to look for, but if someone needs it, it's going to pay it forward for the next moving company or the next home service company. And now that person doesn't come late anymore. Yeah, that was on your clock, that was on your watch, but that's how we improve as an industry. We have a little bit of this thing called discipline. We can't take a belt to the backside, although sometimes we probably would want to with some of our team members when they're wearing slides and a tank top to move professionally. Not in my house. You know what they say at Chick-fil-A? Like, how do you get kids to smile? They say, we pay them to smile, and if they don't smile, we tell them to go home. You're fired. Right? Like, do you have your standards? Right? And the team members either are not, that don't like it, you probably don't want them at the company. But the team members, the rest are watching, like, no, we have a standard of excellence here, an excellence in customer service, an excellence there. And hopefully if your mama didn't teach you, like Dwight's talking about, then I'm going to teach you for one day or half a day because you ain't going to make it. Right? And it might seem, oh, he's so harsh. No. We're excellent.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, and I think you do gotta give when it bringing it all back to business. You do have to like, yes, you should document stuff, but it becomes a point where you document it too much, and and some people would say differently. But I just feel like, let's say you have a dispatcher, prime example, and the dispatcher doesn't have the ability to fire a mover. So, they're either tattletelling to you as the operation manager all the time. Oh, this guy keeps showing up late. This guy, I have to keep telling him to put his uniform shirt on, or blah, 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 whatever the reasons are. And so technically, maybe they're documented. They're writing it down on an actual piece of paper or in your software saying, hey, yeah, I spoke to this guy on this day. I spoke to this guy on this day. And it keeps getting pushed up the chain. But nothing ever happens. So the actions, maybe don't happen again the same next day, but it happens in 2 weeks. Oh, they didn't show up for work. Oh, they didn't have their uniform on, whatever the case is, and you document it again. Eventually, those people that don't have that power to reprimand in a way where it's felt, they lose that power, they lose that respect. They get the respect lost by the staff member, because now the staff member is just like, oh, you just always got a problem with me, or whatever the case is. And at the end of the day, now it's upper management job to have to keep pressing on you to do something to fix it. But they don't have the power besides a pencil and paper.
How much of this would you say, James, is culture related?
It's very culture related. Like you got to set up the system to help people understand. And usually people understand when you hit them in the wallet. Last I checked, you hit them in the wallet. So you can hit them in the wallet in the bad way, but you can also hit them in the wallet in the good way, right? We've been talking a lot about sticks. Let's talk a little bit about carrots. So I was on with another CEO of one of a large moving company out of Atlanta, and they were talking about when they first started. So I'm going to start there. So stuff that anybody can do, right? Is they went to Amazon and bought a bunch of these raffle tickets. Okay. I'm talking about where you start. And then we'll talk about corporate when you got your 7-8 figure moving business. But let's say you're just getting started. Get your raffle tickets. They don't cost much. You can get a few prizes, things that guys like. You like food. Last I checked, we like food, and maybe other things, scratch offs, fun stuff like that. And when you see something that you want to see, like someone shows up early, raffle ticket. Got a uniform looking good, raffle ticket. Like reward the things you want to see. And then at the end of a month or 3 months, you put out the prizes, make a big thing of it, and have a little fun. Okay, that's where you start. Where you want to end up going is next is a key performance indicator chart for folks, where you're sitting down with your one-on-ones and you're rewarding the good behavior, and you want to have a quarterly bonus pool. That way, that quarterly bonus pool is not variable cost. You want a fixed, you're going to say, hey, I'm going to put a couple grand or whatever you're going to put into your bonus pool. And what you're going to do is say, hey, look, these key performance indicators, we will add them up, and that'll be your percentage of the bonus. Now you get 100%, I'll give you 100%, right? But hey, you want to, I need an hourly raise. No. If you want more in your paycheck, let me sit down with you. Let me show you how this bonus pool worked out, where and make a leaderboard. You got probably competitive people in your company, right? And then you can reward them with your key performance indicators of things that you're looking to see. And then at the quarter, you issue that percentage of the bonus pool. Add up all the key performance indicators, right? Let's say there's 1,000 points, and then each person gets that percentage. If they had 100 over 1,000, they're getting 10% of that bonus pool that is a fixed cost for you. You already wrote it in. You already knew it wasn't a surprise cost for you. And these are the kind of things you can do, and then tie it back to their hourly rate. Hey, I gave you an additional $500. On average, you work this many hours. This is how much your hourly rate went up because you did the things we asked you to do. And you set up that culture of performance to what Ryan's talking about, whether you're doing raffle tickets or whether you're getting real corporate with it. It just depends on where you are in your journey and your business maturity.
That's the scorecard to me was critical. As an ex-athlete, I look back, would I have played as hard as I did if there wasn't a scoreboard? Would I have dedicated and left it all on the field if I never knew if we're winning by 1, losing by 2, are we tied? What inning is it? How much time is left on the clock, et cetera, et cetera. Bring that type of competitive nature into, because I don't think I've ever met people at a moving company, whether it be laborers, drivers, operations guys, salespeople, that aren't extremely competitive. So have that scoreboard throughout the organization. And it wasn't until we did that at our place where we really started getting that crazy buy-in, that really competitive edge. We did it more or less kind of on a green, yellow, red scale. And I'll tell you, when guys would come in the morning and look at that TV, if they were yellow, oh boy, consequences knowing why they were yellow, right? They knew, hey, we had 2 weeks to get to where we had to go. But you want to talk about a change in how they competed. The blood, sweat, and tears that these guys basically did to get back in the green or go from the red to a yellow or the yellow to the green. But if you're not keeping score, how do you know if you're winning? And I think that goes throughout the entire organization. Having that scorecard to me was super, super critical.
Yeah, data is your engine to growth and engine to culture change. There's an old book called Gung Ho. I've got it over here. Gungho. Really short book. You can read it on a quick drive or airplane flight or whatever. It would go very fast. And it's talking about a guy who took over at a factory and how he changed that culture from sleepy nothing to like high performance. We're talking about a factory, right? So you can and he did it on the back of data, transparency, and putting data up for everybody to see, which is what Ryan's talking about, this scorecard that's visual. So if you've been pulling your hair out, how do I increase the octane in my engine of my corporate business? You got to ask how much are you using your data? Because if you ain't using your data, and then where is your data and how do you get the data? And these are the kind of things that you start, crawl, walk, run. Start today. Find a couple, data pieces that are important to you and make them important to your people. And if you really want to make them important to your people, put a little money beside it.
And stay consistent with it, because if you start something, you get the buy-in from the guys, then you miss a week, miss 2 weeks, miss a month. That same buy-in that you just sort of created and got all that energy behind is as quickly as you got it, as quickly as it's going to fall. Because I was definitely at fault for that. You crushing it for 2-3 quarters, and you know what, Q4 you kind of laid off a little bit. I forgot to update the scorecard, forgot to do this, forgot to hand out my tickets, forgot to hand out the carrots. It was more of kind of the stick piece. You'll lose it just as quick as you got it.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Dwight.
So they said KISS is the term, keep it super simple, because if you overcomplicate it, you're gonna fall behind with trying to keep up with it. We had a bonus structure where we paid the guys out for staying safe. You don't get any damages, you don't damage our trucks, you don't lose so much equipment. That pot would continue to build, and we used to allocate money to it every week. And then at the end, now I know James mentioned something about a quarter. We waited the whole year. It was like a big Christmas bonus for our guys. And based on how many guys we had, how many guys met the qualifications at the end of the year, because you get new guys out the year in the middle of the year, whatever the case is. So if they haven't had X amount of jobs or met certain criteria, they didn't get in on that pot. But if they met it, basically what we would do is, hey, you know what? We had a claims form or a claim spreadsheet. We knew how much damage one person caused, what percentage of the pot we could have had that we lost, which then affected their bonus. And we would probably give out like sometimes like we would divvy up $6,000 to $7,000, amongst the guys that were there. And it would just be for the movers and the drivers or whatever the case is. The sales team, they had their own commission structure. And these guys, look forward to it. They even argue sometimes amongst each other, like, yo, y'all gotta own up. Y'all can't be breaking stuff. Y'all gotta, whatever the case is, you know what? I don't want to affect the pot. Let me go out there and refix my damage or whatever the case is, because I want, to see that bonus money. And, it took some ownership, but, we would post it on the board in the morning. Hey guys, after this week, we've increased the pot to around this amount. Oh, guys, we about to get this money. And they're super excited. And we didn't have to post anything drastic or crazy or, whatever the case is. We just post, hey, what the pot is, what our claims numbers is. And that was enough information just for them to go off of and just be like, okay, we got to be more careful.
It's brilliant. That's what that is. So like, I remember 20 years ago, took a company, I was in an incubator. It was just me and a few fellas. And then we took that to Inc. 500, which means, I was managing this team. We're one of the fastest growing companies in America for 3 years straight. And now that company is a multi-billion-dollar company using the same foundational principles that Dwight and Ryan are talking about right now. First thing I did was drill up a whiteboard right on the wall for everyone to see. Okay. And then whatever's important, claims, damage, whatever you want to use. And whether you do it for the whole year, I'm very much an advocate for, if you need speed, if you need change now, give a bonus a day. So instead of taking $3,000 and making it for the quarter, chop it up by how many business days you got. And at the end of the day, put some cash in somebody's hand. You want to make it real? Good. Hit them in the wallet, hit them right there. If you want immediate change, you're going to need to bring everything, pull it up forward, right? If you need fast change, you need to be speaking in days, hours, weeks, or months. Anything more than that, you're going to be like, man, this change ain't happening fast enough. You got to hyperspeed that thing. So if you're like, I want what Dwight's talking about today, you can have a daily damage bonus. No damage, there's your bonus. Damage, no bonus. Like make it real, make it immediate, and make it and connect it right to that data. I love what we're talking about right now. This is game changing.
On time, no slides, bonus.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You got your breakfast sandwich. Thank you for showing up.
You got to work with what you got, right?
That's right. No chicken biscuit for you today, or chicken biscuit.
So we got James who's in the comments here who mentioned they like your gear, James. They like your LiveSwitch and everything like that. So yeah, if you want to, just for some of the movers that haven't had the opportunity of using LiveSwitch, if you want to kind of reiterate a little bit what that's about.
Yeah. So what we are always educating on is race to the face, speed to lead, right? When someone goes on to Google, movers near me, they go to your website, they call you, right? And typically you do a little discovery. When's your move? Where are you going to? You start asking all your questions, right? And you're doing this right over the phone, just like this. The power of that is not very high. That's a low impact. All right. What you want to do is transition as fast as you can to them to see you and you to see them, saying, hey, well, can I send you a quick text right now? So you go into LiveSwitch. You literally put in their phone number and hit send. If you can send a text message, you can use LiveSwitch. I can teach you in 5 minutes or less. This isn't huge change management. That text goes right to your potential customer, which they just literally tap on it and hit allow. I had one of the guys the other day be like, James, I got a 90-year-old on it. Yeah, it's easy. It's easy. And then you as your salesperson, I'd put my number one salesperson answering my phone. That's the way I'd do it. Or me as an owner, right? And that, because I want them, when they greet, I want them to be greeted by a face as fast as possible, because faces close money. This is why you're sending people out on property to close deals, because you already believe this. I don't even have to convince you about that. We're all sending that out, but it's a race to the face. So now when that person accepts, your salesperson can see everything, can see the job, and it's tuned up for third-party assistance. This ain't a FaceTime call. It's a reverse FaceTime call, actually, We've got it tuned up for third party. Everything's recorded and goes right to the cloud. This is your instant replay, just like the NFL has an instant replay. Now you have an instant replay, which keeps your salesperson accountable, making sure this is your gold standard, because that recording can be shared with all the rest of your salespeople. Also, if the customer, oh, you damaged this. Well, now let me check my instant replay. I wasn't even on property yet, and we already have that on. So that's not my claim, right? Now your operations team can see what your salesperson sold. Hey, stop selling world peace. We don't do that here. you know. Like, please. So it keeps your operations accountable there, because we have our customers have their ops team watch that video at actually 2x speed. You can watch it really fast on the way to the move. So they're prepared. When they show up to Mr. and Mrs. Customer, they already know what's going on. Asking a customer to repeat themselves is not a fun thing for a customer. So if your guys show up engaged and ready, hey, Mrs. Jones, we already know we're moving this today. We're moving over here. We're ready to rock. Then the next thing our guys are doing is putting QR codes up in the truck. And this is for operations. And Dwight mentioned this earlier. So now anybody on your team can pull out their cell phone, because everyone's got one. Right? I think they give you one when you're born these days. But like, you can scan the QR code and you can do a before and after. You can document any damage so you don't get that cover your backside. You can walk around and do that pre-walk around. Say, hey, guys, no one touch anything. Oh, there's scratches on the piano. I'm getting that. And tell the customer what we're doing. Hey, Ms. Jones, the first thing we do is document anything to make sure that we've got an inventory of all your stuff, as well as make sure if there's already pre-existing damage, we want to let you know about that, because when we move your stuff and it's in a different light, you start seeing scratches a little differently. You're right. You see your stuff in a whole new light. When someone touches your stuff, you start seeing it in a different way. And you know how people are with their stuff. I mean, everybody, I don't have to tell this group, right? So now you can start using video from end to end. And then at the very end, customer testimonial video, again, have a guy scan it. Hey, here's that bonus we were talking about every time we get a customer, and then put it on your Google, put it on your website, because Google looks for authentic pictures and videos. They know if you're using stock photo on your website, by the way, as well. So use real stuff from your team's cameras that you're bonusing. You can blow away the competition, right? This is how you blow them away. And then you automate things afterwards. I'll give a shout out, not even to my stuff, but like anything like what Ryan has, what Ryan's got is they can automate follow-up. It takes 7 times to get a customer to write a 5-star review. And you can automate that in a thoughtful way. So there is thoughtful ways to use AI and automation. So now you're end-to-end doing it right. Your speed to lead, your race to the face, because how many times have you had it to where you call and you're getting ready to drive out the next day to Mr. and Mrs. Jones, you call up and say, hey, I'm on my way. Like, don't bother. What do you mean? Don't bother. Oh, we had someone come yesterday.
Yep.
Remember, your 766 5-star reviews, the next one under at 600. And customers love Amazon Prime. Last I checked, when I have a choice between a 2-day delivery or an overnight delivery, I know what I choose.
Yep.
And that's what your customers are choosing. The person who can get there fast. So use video to your advantage. Be the first one. Be that face. Make that human connection. Get that money. Close that deal. First time you close a virtual estimate, I got a convert. That's all it takes, that first deal. Like, I didn't have to drive out for an hour and I got the money. Yeah, because here's what happens. You're going to have a few sections of customers. You're going to have that one customer who has no business calling you. Like the no business calling. They ain't got the money. But yet we still drive out, don't we? Oh, here I go, wasting my time and my gas money. So we want to get rid of that one. So if I can see them, I can see, oh, no. I don't want that job, actually. Let the 2 guys who just got the truck, yesterday with Uncle Joe, do that one. That's not for me. The next piece are the guys that are going to get 5 bids and then have to think about it for 4 weeks. Those types, right? So if you did a virtual on that, great. And you can follow up, great, right? Then you got the next set of folks that's where you're going to compete. Right. And you might win it on that virtual, or you still might have to do we call it a 1-2 punch, where you do the virtual and then you drive out and sit at the dinner table and get that, big deal. You're like, oh, this is the big one. I got to get this one. Right. That's that one. And it's competitive. And then the last one is the people that do not want to have 5 people come out, ain't got time for it. They're happy that you got your 766 5-stars. They got their money set aside. They definitely don't want Uncle Joe touching their stuff. And in fact, the business, they're in a corporate move. It's already paid for. So you know what they want to do? How much? They don't care how much it is. It's like, when can you come and get this stuff? I got to move now. Right? And that's where your speed comes in, where you're not even having to compete. You are going to win that business by just picking the phone up. Right? So this is where we try to train people to understand how those bids come in, which ones you want to lop off, which ones you're going to close right on the spot, and which ones you're really competing for.
Yeah, it's all about flow and how you proposition this to your customer because you will have those older customers who don't, they're not tech savvy. And this is where this is going to, definitely help them in understanding, hey, oh, I don't know nothing about this phone. Well, do you know about text messages? Do you know how to press a button on your text message? And because that's pretty much all you need. And if you have an iPhone or Android, we can show you how to turn your camera around if we need to see your house. But this is going to, because, hey, what we want to do is we want to save you time. Opposed to waiting on me to come out there in 2 days at between 2 and 3 o'clock or whatever the case is. Let's get this done now. Let's go through this process so that basically we can, one, present ourselves as an elite company because this definitely will make you stand out. And also it helps two, it helps increase your culture in your company as well. Because what is your sales team wearing when they come to work if you have an office? So now that one helps your team look presentable because obviously unless they're just looking like somebody that's off the street with some holy pants and shirts and so it helps them look professional, helps them, and most people that look professional and feel good, look good, etc., goes into how they're going to present themselves for the day. So now they're on camera. They're going through the whole process. They're walking the customer, holding the customer hand. The customer is building that rapport with them. They can see them. And they're like, oh, I really like this person. This person is like respectful. I don't see that they have that eyebrow that's up, that's showing that they're just annoyed listening to me or whatever the case is. They're seeming engaged. Now they're like, I really want to go with this company. Then they call company number 2, and company number 2 said, we don't offer video software. We can come out to you. And then they kind of like, and their demeanor on the phone sounds like, well, what I can do for you is they seen company number 1 and how company number 1 set the tone already. And they're like, can you do video? Video? No. Just send us pictures via text message. Okay. And then they're gonna hang up and they're never gonna deal with that company again because you set the bar for them high.
So what do you say, Dwight and James, too? Because I come across this all the time. I'm a huge believer in the virtual survey. I will say many years ago, I was like, there's no way I'm going to be more accurate with the video survey. There's no way I'm going to close as many deals because when Ryan's on site in that kitchen table, Ryan sells. He this, he that. So I was the first one that was very optimistic back in the day. But I will say I got tired of driving an hour and a half to look at a guitar in a book box.
Mm-hmm.
And then coming to find out that it's going to California and can we do it for less than $250? And I'm thinking, man, 3-hour round trip, all this time, only just to be away. So what do you tell owners that, again, because I hear it all the time, is we're not getting into the video side of things. Our guys close better with it. We don't need that tech. We need to be at the table. I know what I've said. It still goes nowhere, but how do you kind of get around it? Because your technology, James, I will say, is probably the most simplistic, easy. You can be 100 years old. If you can pick up a cell phone and hit a dang link, you're connected. So you don't need to be tech savvy. What do you say to those owners that are just like, no, we're not going virtual. I'm going to continue to send my sales reps all across the planet to see what we can do because they close at a higher rate.
Yeah, I try to shift this a little bit, right? They're right. When someone's got their mind made up, by God, like, no. All right, don't do that. What I'm going to ask you to do, though, is change your process just a little bit, right? You're still going to send your guys out every time. Check. That's what they want to do. What I'm saying is when that first call comes in, I want to own your discovery call. Talk to me about that. Because your guys don't just magically drive around town all day showing up randomly because they know this person needs to move. That's not how it works. So I get them on common ground. What happens? Tell me about that first call. What are you guys doing on that first call? Because you do talk on the phone first before you drive out, correct? Oh, yes, we absolutely do. 100%. Okay. So we ask this. They're asking their discovery questions. I'm saying now I want you to ask your discovery questions while you look at that person, while your team, your number one salesperson is looking before they drive out. They're looking at that person right here because I can show you by the data, and the face don't even have to be that pretty. that the face closes at a higher rate than voice. But the data that your salesperson is getting in that first virtual discovery call is they're getting eyes on the house, right? Because then they can decide, I ain't driving out. Let's talk about the ones they don't drive out, like what you said. When you drive out and it's a pizza box and the person ain't got two nickels to rub together. You sent your best sales guy for the day to look at a pizza box and the person ain't got two nickels?
Yeah.
That could have been done quickly. Protect your team.
Yep.
And then I'm not telling you not to drive out. I'm saying this is a 1-2 punch. Then what will happen? Inevitably, it always does. Because we've been doing this now for many years. This person's like, oh, dang. Hey, boss man, I actually just closed it virtually. Because once your number one sales guy tastes a virtual close, once they taste it, seeing's believing. I mean, we can all talk about this and they're like, y'all are some kind of stupid and that's fairy tales until they actually close a deal and are like, hot, dang. Or what about a long distance move where you're going to get on your sales guy on an airplane? No, you ain't. Right? Or you're receiving. And we're only talking about the front end. We ain't talking about the operational side, the before and afters, all the other stuff. Not using your cameras on your phone is crazy. It's like if I went and I say, hey, Dwight, Ryan, we're taking the instant replay away from the NFL. Do you know how many people would be up in arms? Now they got rid of the chain gang for this next season. There's no chain gang anymore.
See,
Yeah, they're doing virtual.
I'd be okay with the instant replay, just like the balls and strikes in Major League. I play the game, let the refs call it. You're going to have the blown thing, but that's a whole different thing.
That's right. And then finally, I'm telling the business owner, look, you've got your ears on your business. I'm telling you, I want to put your eyes on your business. Right? Because once you see everything and now you're seeing everything end to end, you're seeing everything in your business. It's shining light on everything. Pre-move, during the move, post-move, you're getting everything. Why would you say no to that? Especially the pricing for our stuff is like $5 a day. I'm like, I'm not asking for a big part of your wallet, So I think that's how I really coach people who are like, nah, I ain't doing that. It's like, no, come on. Like, come on.
Yeah, and the crazy part is, and one comment for you, which I think it's, we ain't gonna say yet, but Ryan, somebody said, hey, who's your favorite coworker at Supermove?
Who's my favorite coworker?
Uh-huh.
See, now I don't play favorites. Everybody's my favorite coworker. I'm just going to say that because I think I know who's asking that question. And I love him to death. He is my favorite mover coworker by far at Supermove. No, I love everybody I work with. And James, this one's going to you. Yes, I'm going to tell, yeah, James is my number one. I'm just going to say it right now. Just because he wants that, I'm sure. I'm surprised my phone's not texting right now. I do. Thanks, James. I got to. Yeah. I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him.
So, but no, for those that I guess it's one of those things where it just still boggles my mind for companies that are big and don't have CRMs. And if you don't have something as simple as a CRM, I can't see you even incorporating something like LiveSwitch because you just don't understand the simplicity of how much work you're actually doing. Prime example, me starting moving force or whatever the case is. It's a whole different ball field from me doing the whole moving concept. And with it being said, I'm sending 8,000 emails manually, trying to customize it, trying to do this, trying to waste all this invaluable time, where it's like, if you just simplify it, if you automate it, if you, build that system to let it run by itself, CRM, that basically you start to realize that you're freeing up so many hours in your week that these staff members can be doing so much more. And now you're like, well, hey, I'm still old school. I'm going to send somebody on site to do an on-site estimate. You can do that still, but how many estimates could you have gone through if they just stayed in the office? Now you're paying for their fuel because they need mileage reimbursement. They only get into like 3 to 5 houses in a day. They got to organize their schedule because they need to be in the same territory because everything is so far out to get to. Where it's just like, let me send you a text message, let me send you a text message, let me send you a text message. How many more text messages can you send in a day versus having to drive around to 5 estimates?
You
But
can double your productivity, which is exactly what happened to me leveraging the technology, like the live switches. Instead of doing 4 or 5 estimates a day, being porched, as I call it, because that always happened almost every day. People forget, even though I would call a half hour, an hour, 15 minutes, and they still don't pick up the phone. You still almost have to show up to the house, right? Because they could be doing something. And I can't tell you how many times I'd call, no answer, call, no answer. You still show up at the house. Nobody's there, but you hear the dogs bark, and you're like, man, now I've got this 45 minutes to an hour. What am I doing with my time? It's not like I can go take a lunch or something like that. Or on the flip side, you call, you call, you call. You're like, you know what? They're not answering, so I'm not showing up. You don't show up. I restructure my day, get my next appointment to meet a little bit early. Then I'm getting that phone call from the customer going, where are you for our appointment? And it's like, well, I called you 13 times. Nobody answered. I didn't want to just show up and you not be there. So it wasn't until I did my 5 estimates in person a day and was able to take that from 8 to 10 easily and then watch my closing ratio go from mid 40s up into the 60s. That's when the aha moment hit me like, wow, I can do way more with less and just bring more into the organization. And it's less work for me, higher pay for me, bigger commissions for me, healthier for the organization. And then again, just the power of what you can use it for, the claims, the operations, as James was saying. I remember I used to have organizations that would pay me $150 to $250 to go out and do a QC check. Why? I'm driving 45 minutes one way to get out and meet a team that I don't know, meet a customer that I don't know. It's not our move. It was from, major brand that was doing a move in the area they had to go through. I had the paper thing of, okay, is there rug runners? Check. Is the team in uniform? Check. Send them a damn text message from you already have the relationship with that customer. Now you're bringing in a third party guy to go do a QC check. What do you think the crews are thinking? Who's this stranger showing up? What's he going to say? What's he going to do? What's he looking for? He doesn't know my truck, my crew, my customer. Why is he here? Send the damn text message. Goes such a long way.
yeah,
But
and I know we're at the top of the hour, so I'll say this last part and we'll do a round table so everybody can kind of do their thing. But I'll say one of the things that struck me or strike me to go with LiveSwitch and not even trying to raise their horn because hey, they're good. But when we first started building out our scripts, it was one of those things where it's like, hey, we get a 2+ bedroom. Automatically, we have to, do a on-site or a video estimate or whatever the case is because we need to know exactly what they got so we can determine if we're going to bring more than one truck. It got to that point where it's like, no, every estimate we do, we want eyes on it, and it's like, well, isn't that time consuming? No, because this is so seamless that if a customer just can't walk around their house and you don't have to be on video with them. That's the other plus side to it. You don't have to do a virtual estimate where you're looking at them. They can ask, you could just send a text message and they could just walk around the house with their phone. How many times do they do videos of recording their babies or videos of recording something? They know how to use their phone. So, hey, just walk around your house. Give me a detailed idea of what we're getting into. Send that 5-minute video and we'll give you a call, probably within the same day saying, hey, here's your price. So that studio, that 1 bedroom, that 2 bedroom, everything gets it now. It's no exception because this is so simple and they don't have to go and do necessarily homework. They've already been recording in their average daily life. So that's my 2 cents on it, yeah. And that's why I believe y'all should definitely use LiveSwitch in whatever type of industry field that you guys are in, because you can make it work in no matter what type of fashion, as long as you're dealing with consumers or even businesses. But James, yeah, I'll leave a little bit with you.
Yeah, no, thanks, guys. I appreciate, the words there and it's just the reality, right? Like what we're trying to transform between everyone you're hearing today is the customer experience and the employee experience, the things that you're in charge of. You're in charge of that experience, right? And that you can make things different. You can try things differently, but it all weaves together, right? As you track your data using Supermove, right? If you know your data, you're going to know where you're winning. You'll know like the truth because the data is the data. And you have your team entering that information in there. You can pull those reports. You can look at that. You can review that with the team. And it enhances your credibility when you stand in front of your team asking them to do certain things, right? And why? And tie it back to the why. Why are we doing this, right? And secret shop a few, like we talked about at the beginning, right? Secret shop your competition. Secret shop your own team. See what the experience is like because we're not selling, a quick fix out of pipe from a plumber or, hey, someone to come over and do some maintenance. You're selling a multi-$1,000 thing. The last time you bought something for thousands of bucks, you go to the store, you want a nice new watch. I'm sure you expect a certain level of service, right? And an experience when you walk in to do something like that. Why do we treat it differently when it comes to a multi-$1,000 move? I want a certain level of experience when I'm spending that much money. Don't you? When you personally spend thousands of dollars of your hard-earned money, don't you have a certain expectation of that? And are you giving that? Because your competition is, I've been talking to them, I've been talking, and where can you just weave in the crawl, the walk, and the run? I know for a lot of us, we just get all like, oh, I can't do it. No, just pick a few things you can do today, and then a few more things for tomorrow. And if you don't know how to do it, get some help. I'm looking at Dwight right now. I think the man has done it before. I'm looking at Ryan. I think the man has done this before. You've got people in your corner that you can turn to, whether they're vendors or whether they're mastermind groups. Get a mastermind group. Get vendors you trust that aren't always after your credit card. I promise me, Dwight, and Ryan aren't always eyeballing your credit card.
No.
We really are here to help serve you and help you enhance your business and your customer experience. So, Dwight, thank you for having me today, and, happy to connect with anybody watching today. Just reach right out and we can continue this conversation.
Ryan, take it home.
I can't follow after what James said there. My goodness, I'm just saying I agree with him, but no, like James is spot on. I mean, and the other side piece, I'll add it and do it as quickly as I can here. Is it's a different consumer out there. It's just a different world. We've got to differentiate ourselves from what once was to now. So I leave anybody with find new ways to work. And it's okay to honor those legacy practices that you're so used to, but just insert some technology there. You will find that it gives up more time, it frees up more of your time. You will become more profitable and you will close more deals. That race to the face, as James was saying, is 100% true. Race to the face. I'm leaving it there. And again, pleasure seeing you, James and Dwight. Thanks for having me on here bright and early in the morning. You have to switch. If you're like every Thursday, I'm gone. So this Sam thing's got to go away here soon.
Yeah, I gotta travel like you guys. You guys are amazing. But all right, y'all. So y'all keep crushing it. It's almost the start of busy season next month. Some of you are already starting to see it. We're in April and we're still getting snow in upstate New York, so how fun. But for those that actually are starting to see the volume pick up, it's only going to get crazier next month. So if you don't have your systems dialed in now, I don't know what to tell you, because we had several months to this point to get it together. And hey, LiveSwitch is right here. But you have several months to get it together. And now, you're about to go into busy season. So implementing changes at this point is not the time to be doing it. It's basically to use what you've been using and make sure that, you're documenting what worked and what didn't work at the point. But keep killing it out there. We will see you next week. James, we'll definitely have to have you back on. We can't wait 30 episodes again, but we'll definitely have to have you back on. And Ryan, it's always been a pleasure. So
we'll see you boys soon.
All right, y'all.